Are you struggling with music theory and how you can use it in your own music to make your tracks better? I'm Simon from Composing Academy, and today I'm going to show you a quick video covering chord inversions, including what they actually are and how they can be used to spice up your chord progressions. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments below, and if you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more music theory and composing tips and tricks. So what are chord inversions? Chord inversions are simply the reordering of notes in a chord. Let's start with a C major chord, which has the notes of C, E and G. The root note of a C major chord is letter C. When the root note of a chord is on the bottom, it is called root position. Now let's see what happens if we reorder the notes in the chord. Let's take the root note of C and move it from the bottom up to the top. Now you can see we have the same three notes played in a different order: E, G and C. We call this new order of notes a first inversion. Our chord has been flipped once and the root note has moved from the bottom to the top. When we hear a chord, our ear naturally focuses on the very top note. As our top note has now changed, the chord sounds slightly different to the C major we originally heard in root position. We can further change the order by taking our new bottom note of E and moving this to the top instead. Our chord has been flipped twice, so it is now called a second inversion. Now that our top note has changed to an E, you can hear that the chord sounds different yet again. It is still a C major chord, but has a slightly different sound quality to it. Chord inversions and bass notes. As well as normal triads, inversions can become really useful when used with bass lines. Let's take the C major chord played by a string section. We start with a C major chord in root position. The note C is the bottom note of the chord. We hear another C major chord, but this time with E in the bottom. This is our first inversion. Notice how the chord sounds similar, yet has a slightly different tone and feel to it. Next we move to the brand new chord of F major. You can see that with the C first inversion chord added, the bass line is not making a big jump between C to F anymore. Instead we have the E which falls in between, bridging the gap and making a smoother bass line to link the two chords together. So why are inversions useful in music? First off, playing around with chord inversions is a great way to make a chord progression sound richer and more interesting. The moment you mix up the order of the notes in a particular chord, it changes the sound of the chord subtly. Remember, our ear will automatically focus more on the top pitch of a chord, so playing around with the top notes adds a new layer of variety. Inversions can also make playing chords on a piano easier, moving between each chord efficiently and smoothly. If you only play chords in root position, your hand would be jumping around the keyboard quite a bit. With inversions, however, you can keep your hand concentrated in one area, making switching chords easier. Chords also generally sound better and more cohesive when there are minimal jumps. And finally, as we've seen, chord inversions also help to make more interesting bass lines. Changing the bottom note of a chord is a great way to make your bass lines sound less predictable and more inventive. Don't forget to ask any questions in the comments below. If you have enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more composing tips and tricks to help you getting started.